Welcome, everyone, to this week's broadcast of AASCENTV, Life on the Autism Spectrum. I'm your co-host, Keith Halperin.
And I'm your co-host, Will Burdick.
And today our guest is Alan Loya of Next for Autism, who will tell us about the special program Next Connect. But before we begin, well, it looks like you've got an interesting T-shirt today. What do you got?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because this week's shirt is my Hufflepuff shirt. From most of you, the Hufflepuff is one of the four major houses at Hogwarts in Harry Potter. Hufflepuff was the house for the loyal students, the ones who are most loyal to the school. Tell us about your background and work with autism.
Thank you so much, William and Keith, and thank you for having me on to this show tonight. I really do appreciate it, or today, should I say. So a little bit about myself. My name is Alan Loya. I'm actually the oldest of 6 boys. I love to snowboard. I love to be outside and just do adventurous things. My background is I was in the Army for 3.5 years. I went to Afghanistan in 2013. It was pretty much like the movies. Getting hit with rockets, and my team was the ones that would fire back and keep the base safe. So that was what I did out there. And as I came back, I was trying to figure out, what could I do? How can I make a difference? I took some self-development courses and really got to get connected to what I was really about. And I actually had a friend connect me to who I'm working for now, and who I work for is Premier Living Services. And what we do is we look for entry-level jobs, and we place people who are neurodiverse in those jobs, and we coach them on the soft skills, which is how they dress, to how they communicate, to the hard skills, which is, do they know how to do the job? If issues arise, do they know who to go to or what to do? And so that's a little bit of my background, and what I've been able to bring to the Next Connect program is what I have been learning and growing as a coach with the neurodiverse. Patience is so important, and being able to meet people where they at and build from there can really set somebody up. I've had the privilege of working with Jennifer here, who's been an amazing person. She's really been able to be open and communicate with me what's going on with her and what's there regarding the interview processes and everything that Next Connect has to offer. I do want to go into a little bit about Next Connect real quick. And so what Next for Autism is, it's actually a nonprofit that creates programs to support the neurodiverse. And one of those programs is actually called the Next Connect program, where you get to have somebody who's a professional, and then they put you in with a mentee, someone who's going to college or is looking for a job, and you get to learn and grow together. The Next Connect program has a whole system that is already laid out to go through each week with your mentee. And that is what I've been able to do with Jennifer, and be able to not only learn from her and what's there for her, but also share my insights and see how we can both work together to learn and to grow from each other and be able to take that into the workforce.
Can you describe Next to Connect in more detail?
Sure. So, one thing about the Next Connect is there's a whole portal that you go to, and in that portal, it breaks down everything that you need to do and everything that you need to go through. I went in here not actually knowing what this was going to look like. What Next Connect, what they were able to do is they were able to put together something that we were able to follow down to the very T. It's mentorship pairing, bi-directional learning, right? So I'm here, Next Connect is providing the material, and then I get to communicate that with my mentee, which in this case, this is Jennifer here. And it just provides a one-on-one opportunity for people to learn and to grow. I mean, I can't tell you how much I've grown just from being with Jennifer, getting where she's at, seeing, oh, okay, there's what things are there to work on, right? I mean, we all have things to work on as human beings. And it's just about having somebody there to be able to coach you on what that looks like. How am I supposed to know what I need coaching on if I don't know what I need coaching on? It's a blind spot. The only way I'm going to know that is if somebody's able to show me that for myself. And that does give us an opportunity here with the Next Connect program to be able to do that and to learn and to grow. And I'll tell you, why is this important? Because it helps the neurodiverse build confidence, job readiness, while also educating us as mentors on the workplace and how we can be more inclusive.
You've described sort of the typical way in which the Next Connect program works. Could you give us sort of an example of, what it would be like for someone in a typical session about what you say and what they ask and so on?
Sure. So for every session is different and we go over different things every session. So one of the things that we did go over was how can we create the environment so that it does fall in line with the neurodiversity. Like this could be somebody like having wheelchair accessibility, something simple as that. And so what we went through with that was there's a PDF that Next Connect has, and we literally go through the PDF and break down each section. And so one section could be, okay, so in a work environment, what are some things that we could put into place so that it can bring more an inclusive environment? Okay, great, right? The wheelchair accessibility. How about desks that go up and down, right? Chairs that are made ergonomically for your back. What about a mouse, right? Because there's certain mouses where when you grab it, my mouse, I grab like this. And that's made so that my hand doesn't cramp up. I have big hands. I can't have a little mouse. Otherwise, this gets cramped, right? So I have to make sure that that's important for my hands. So, it's things like that. And literally what I would do is I say, okay, so what do you think are some things that we could use in a workplace that could be beneficial? So I would ask a question like that, and then Jennifer would, or whoever's there, would answer the question. And then we'll go through that. Okay, have you ever been in a circumstance where you didn't have the accessibility that you could have, that you would have wanted to have? Yes. Okay, let's break that down. Well, one time when I was in a grocery store, the bags that were clipped on weren't clipped on right. So I couldn't open the bag right and I couldn't put my groceries in it. Right. So it's like, okay, well, what could we do in that circumstances to make things work for you better? So it's just about building on top of what we've already created.
Tell us more details about about your role as a job coach.
So I've been a job coach since June of 2019. It has been an exceptional experience. I have grown every single day. I started off shadowing a team of 3 people. So there's the coach, and then I'm shadowing the coach, coaching the team. And so I went from shadowing a team of 3, and then shadowing a team of 6, and then I took responsibility of the team of 6, and slowly and surely I have grown myself, and I went from shadowing to now I'm managing everything that we have going on at one of the places that we have. It's at one of the universities, and basically it's been a phenomenal experience. I mean, I'm communicating now directly with the departments, directly with the managers, the people who are in charge. Those are the people that we are in communication with to be able to have opportunities to bring people in who are neurodiverse. And that has been an exceptional thing for me. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to be here and to
tell us more about your program Next to Connect.
All right. So the Next Connect program that I'm currently in is for professionals to come in and to have a mentee and basically work together on what it looks like to have interviews, resumes, and all the things needed to have the neurodiverse individual be prepared for getting a job or finding a job. And what we go over, couple things that I've learned are the soft skills and the hard skills. Hard skills can be anything, technical abilities, writing reports, operating machinery, using software like Microsoft Excel. And then there's the hard skills, which is the personal traits and behaviors, communicating, the teamwork, problem solving, time managing. Are they showing up to work on time? Are they in the right uniform? These things matter because what it does is it supports the growth and it gives examples of how well we can communicate with each other. And that's really important when you're in a work environment. And this program, the Next Connect program, is just been an opportunity for mentors and mentees to come together, learn from each other, and grow.
How would you expand on your program Next to Connect in the city?
You know what? That's a good question. From what I'm a part of their program, so what I can speak to is what I know from the program. Other than that, I know that they have other ways of getting out there, and they support the neurodiverse by creating different programs. So I'm sure that I can go online and search what other programs they have, or maybe they have connected with another organization where they've created a program over there. So I would say going on to their Next Connect website is going to be the best way to find out more information about how you can connect with them and how you can be a part of this program, and see what else there is for you.
Thank you very much, Alan. And now our producer, Matthew McIntyre, has a question for our guest.
As a fellow job coach, I wanted to ask, what are the challenges that you come across in creating certain job skills, hard skills, or soft skills for the participants in the program?
Hey, well, Matthew, thank you for the question. I would say that it would be making the way that I communicate is very important. So if I'm communicating and I notice that the way that the other person is taking it is not the way that I initially intended them to take it, and they're giving me a different reaction, then I know that there was something in my communication that did not land the way that I wanted to over there. So I would say is continually being open to how I communicate and be very observant on how the other person is reacting towards what I'm saying, so that I can make sure that my communication lands the way that I want over there. Does that answer your question?
I see it as code switching from one person to another. Is that correct?
Coach switching from one person to another, like the way that you are with one person is going to be different than the way you are with another. 100%. Though when I go to the different departments that I'm in, the way that I am with one person is going to be totally different than I am with another. And you know what? We're all each individual people. It doesn't matter whether we're neurodiverse or neurodivergent. It does not matter. We all have our own things, our own quirks, our own things going on with us. So it's
Okay.
it's something that is just a thing. And we shouldn't see that as anything negative or anything like that.
I myself brought up the subject of code switching because the challenges and not barriers, the challenges that I have as a coach is that most of my participants and clients are ESL. So I can still understand them, they understand me, they just cannot speak it well, so I have to speak their language.
Yeah, I mean, have you grown yourself from doing that, like speaking another language?
I speak a little Japanese.
It works. You found a way that you can communicate with them, and it can look many different ways. As long as you can find a way where you both can communicate, then that's what matters.
You've gone into a bit on, what the mentor-mentee relationship is, but could you elaborate a little bit more? It's like, who would be the typical mentees, and what sort of additional things, besides talking about the dealing with the accommodations, which you've already discussed, would the mentors typically deal with?
Yeah, so the Next Connect is a mentorship program where professionals get to support people who are autistic, college students, or recent graduates prepare for jobs. It's a two-way learning experience. Mentors gain insight on the neurodiverse perspectives, while the mentees get career guidance.
Could you give some examples of, again, beyond the sort of accommodations that might be required, some examples of what the career guidance could entail?
Sure. I mean, we've gone over a couple of different things. If you give me a second, I can actually pull
Okay.
like one of the things up that I've been able to go over with her. What have we gone over? We have inclusive hiring practices. What kind
Yes.
of hiring practices are needed for someone who is neurodiverse, right? So, I mean, we've broken that down. We go introduction to inclusive hiring. What's the definition? Why does it matter? Key elements of inclusive hiring: accessible hiring process, bias-free recruitment, right? Standardized interviews, diverse hiring panels. So the key elements of inclusive hiring, it's like giving you a broad perspective of what that looks like. You got strategies for inclusive hiring. What does that mean? Expanding the talent pool, maybe outreach to diverse groups, community partners, training and awareness, right? Cultural competencies, understanding the different perspectives, right? That's super important to know if you're going to be in a work environment, and you to be able to know that there's different perspectives and the people see things a different way. those type of trainings can really make a difference. Who knows? I know that when I read this, I was like, hey, this would be amazing to be able to have this type of training so that even for myself, I can be knowledgeable in it. I know that when I come into a work environment, I'll be able to come with something. I'll already have some education on what to expect. And these type of things are really important because it just sets the foundation for somebody to be able to come into a work job and already have all this knowledge with them. Strategies for inclusive hiring, right? We just went over that. Benefits of inclusive hiring. Retention increases, employees feel valued and they stay longer. Company reputation improves. A commitment to inclusion attracts top talent. I was going over with Jennifer, right? It's like in the interviews, they don't go over necessarily your skill qualities, right? They go over check boxes. Do you check this? Do you check that? Jennifer has a lot of great skills, and I can see that it just takes the right job that can see the skills that she has so that she can implement them. And not just her, that goes with anybody. So I think that it's super important that we focus on people's skills and see how they can bring their skills to whatever job or whatever that looks like. And that could really make a huge difference, right? The challenges and consideration, shifting mindsets. Some may resist change. Education can help. I mean, action plan, right? Access current hiring practices, identify where changes are needed. I mean, there's so much information that they give, right? Interview preparedness, preparation and best practices. What introduction to interviews? Why are interviews important? Understanding that process, right? It's good to know. There's icebreaker questions that you can ask at the beginning of interviews. Let me tell you, Jennifer, myself, we were like, why are you asking these questions, right? And it's for us to see, well, some people, they get nervous in a job interview, so they do icebreaker questions so that it allows people to relax a little bit, right? One of those is, if you were an animal, what would you be and why? Does that have anything to do with a job interview, right? And some people, right, for some people, they don't see why that's necessary, and others, it does support them. And each person is different, right? And know that this can be a question that can show up in an interview, and it's all right, right? Hey, if we don't like this question, oh, what's going on inside me? Oh yeah, look at that, I'm getting mad because I don't like that. Okay, well, I know for me, I continually look for when I'm a little out of it or my body's not liking it. Okay, well, what's going on? Whoa, right? So with this question does not sit right with me. Why would they ask me this question? It doesn't make any sense. Yes, Alan, I get it doesn't make sense. And be here, be present, know that this is just what they do, right? So that right there, right? What Jennifer just said, heck yeah. And hey, sometimes these questions are going to be asked, and just know that they're going to be there. And even though we may not like them, hey, it's okay. Let's get through it. Let's answer this question. And
I do have a couple things. Do not want them in part of the program, so these will be cut. I'm just curious about, they will be brief. How much does it cost and who pays for it? Cut this
I would
out
have
now.
to I would have to ask, I guess, because the how I got into, I don't think it costs anything, but I can double check. How I got into it is the business owner that I work for. He had shared with me about the opportunity, so
Yeah.
I followed suit with him, and we both did it. So I can look into that more, but I doubt that you have to pay. Jennifer, you didn't have to pay, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't think I had to pay at all. It's literally a program where they're like, hey, if you are a professional and you want to grow and to share your what you know with a mentee who is neurodiverse, here you are. And you can be from any background. It does not matter. They just want somebody who's a professional. Yeah, so the job coaching thing is separate. This is more of like the business that I work for. So
Mhm.
as far as how much it costs and all of that, I think I wouldn't know that information because I don't actually do that part of it.
Okay.
Or like, I mean, if in a
Okay,
business, you
yeah.
have to go to a department and then you're like, hey, if you want my
Right.
services, this is how much we charge you. And this is what it looks like. So for us as a business, we just, we're word of mouth, and we look for different departments that sees opportunities to bring somebody in who is neurodiverse and give them an opportunity to have an entry-level job. And then from there, once they're on that job site, I or one of the other coaches create instructions literally detailed, like say it is very detailed. Literally,
Yes.
log on to Google, you know, this username, the works, so that they know exactly what they need to do and how to do it. So I
Excellent.
break it down to the T. And then when I give it to them and I'm like, okay, let them run with it. I let them run with it. And then I support in the background. I observe, okay, how are they doing with the instructions that I gave them? Are they running into any issues? Do they have any questions? And little by little, what I get to do is I get to step back more and more and give that person an opportunity to just be. And they're responsible. I can count on them to do the job that they're here to do. At the end of the
Got
day, I can tell you that all of my team members just want to have a regular life like everybody else. They want a job, they want a place, they want to have their own food. And so I work, with the highly capable, I would say more for the neurodiverse. And so we have people who drive, people take the bus, people walk. You name it, we have it. So
Oh,
it's just a matter of,
excellent.
it's a matter of who we have in front of us. Transportation is important, right? It doesn't matter how you get to work, as long as you can get there. That's what matters, and be safe. Very important.
Do you work with regional centers?
You know what? It's so funny you say that, because we've actually been trying to get vendored with the regional center for a couple years now, and what we're actually looking to get into another program with Westside Regional Center. We're fingers crossed that it hits, because we really see this as a way that can support the neurodiverse even more. And it really actually goes into more of like supporting them, going to school, right? Going to college, right? There's going to be two different options. It's either education or employment. We're going to be able to support in those two specifically. And the education can go literally from building the resume, finding the job, and all of that stuff that go along with it. I'm not saying the program right now, since we're not vendored with it yet. So I don't want to put anything out there like that.
Well, I understand you have a final question for our guest.
Yes, I do. Alan, how often do you work in your program Next to Connect?
Thanks for the question, William. I would say the Next Connect program, it's actually like an 8-month program. We're supposed to be meeting 8 times throughout the 8-month program, and you're open to meeting more times than that if you want. So we're actually coming up on our last meeting, which is going to be this coming either Thursday or Friday, to complete our session with the Next Connect program. And then from there, I'm sure they're going to have it again. Do I know when right now? I don't know when. And when that opportunity comes, I'll definitely be more than happy to jump in on that again and support.
And then finally, Alan, I would think that many of our viewers here would be very interested in learning about and connecting with the, no pun intended, Next Connect program. What is the best way for our viewers to learn more and to connect with your program?
The Next Connect, I would say definitely going online to our website and connecting with us there. You'll be able to find all the information that you're looking for through the website and get any questions that you have answered.
Excellent. And what is the URL for your website again for our viewers?
All right. The Next Connect web Next for Autism is nextforautism.org.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another book review. If you follow this show regularly, you may remember that in the last episode, I reviewed a book called Blue Mind by Wallace J. Nichols, the surprising science that shows how being near, in, on, or underwater can make you happier, healthier, more connected, and better at what you do. That book quoted from another book called The Reason I Jump. So today I would like to tell you about The Reason I Jump, the inner voice of a 13-year-old boy with autism. This was written by Naoki Higashida, who was born in 1992. And this book was published originally when he was 13 years old. It was originally published in Japan, not translated into English until several years later. This book is quite interesting for many reasons. First of all, the fact that it's written by a 13-year-old with nonverbal autism, and you might think, how articulate could anyone with nonverbal autism be, let alone a 13-year-old? Actually, if you read the book, he is very articulate and very eloquent, more than many adults. And middle school kids might be interested in this because it was written by someone their age. And the beginning of the book is written in Q&A format, series of questions and answers. The title question, what's the reason you jump? That is question 25. He says, when I'm jumping, it's as if my feelings are going upward to the sky. Really, my urge to be swallowed up by the sky is enough to make my heart quiver. When I'm jumping, I can feel my body parts really well too. My bounding legs and my clapping hands. And that makes me feel so good. Also featured are some mini stories that Naoki made up, a miniature dialogue. Once upon a time on a small green quiet planet, Autism Man says, so, welcome to my home world. Earthling says, don't you feel weighed down? It feels as if I've got weights strapped to my arms and legs. Autism Man says, ah, but on your planet, I always feel as if I'm swimming around in space weightlessly. Earthling says, okay, now I understand you. I really understand. And that is the goal of this book and many others, to help us really understand each other and get over the misconception that the way I am is the way everyone was meant to be, and everyone who's not exactly like I am has something wrong with them. Aoki has written other books, including one called Fall Down 7 Times, Get Up 8. He has also written a story featured at the end of The Reason I Jump. It's about a teenage boy who is tragically killed, run over by a car. He goes to heaven, but he misses his family so much that he asks God to be reincarnated. Another story about how it would feel to be separated from what you love most and unable to communicate your true feelings. And Naoki hopes that his book and other things that he's written will be able to help everyone understand each other better, create a better world, not just in Japan, but everywhere, including here in America.
Hello everybody, Stacey Kennedy here, and today what I will discuss is Saturday, March 15th will be a general meeting via Zoom starting at 10 a.m. and our guest will be Jackie Scold, who will be talking about assembling positive experiences of having autism, and she will welcome those to Sunday, March 23rd, Lands End Walk in San Francisco, starting at Point Lobos Avenue Visitors Center, the Lookout Visitor Center, where everyone will come along and get together with the family of Lisa Lewis. Suggested to RSVP to lewis@sonic.net. So again, March 23rd, Lands End Rock Beach Walk. Thank you.
So everyone, that's our program for this week. I'm your co-host, Keith Halperin.
I'm your co-host, Will Burnick.
I'm your cultural correspondent, Stacey Kennedy.
And I'm your book reviewer, Jennifer Brooks.
And I'm Alan.
And until next week, we are AASCENDTV, Life on the Autism Spectrum. Stay well, stay safe, and be happy.